Hey guys, Eddie here from Deline Property. Today I want to do a quick video. This video is all about buying things to try to look cool, and I am very passionate about this subject, and the reason why I want to do this subject is because I see so many people every single day, they are buying things to impress other people they don't even like. They are buying things such as they're buying things like fancy bags, fancy clothes, fancy cars and all that kind of stuff just to, I guess, try to impress other people. A lot of times they feel that and I guess my thoughts behind it, a lot of the times they feel that they are not doing it to impress other people. That's quite the common thing that most people say, but they actually are trying to do that subconsciously, and everybody's guilty of it. You know, I'm guilty of it myself. Well, I know a lot of people are guilty of it as well, but basically they want that feeling of, you know, when people look at them getting that fancy car, they want that feeling of owning that fancy car, except, you know, all that kind of stuff, spending money on fancy suits, all that kind of thing. And, you know, growing my property portfolio to 16 properties along the way, one of the biggest things that enabled me to do that was really try not to care about what other people think, trying not to care about, you know, not having the fancy car during, you know, I've got a okay car at the moment, but during my initial, you know, hustle phase of growing my portfolio from 2 properties to, you know, 10 properties, there was absolutely no fanciness. There was no Mercedes, there was no BMW, there was no Mustang, there was no Lamborghini or anything like that. And you know, I knew back then in the future there would be. I knew that I'd be able to, if I just hustled and sacrificed as much as possible, then in the future that stuff will come. But the most important thing is buying assets that will continue to go up in value and produce an income. So it pains me to see when people are spending on, you know, if they're on average incomes and they're buying, you know, $100,000 cars on finance, if they're putting all their hard-earned money into stuff that is going down in value just because maybe they've even grown up with that kind of family and that kind of, those kind of people around them that say you have to have a nice car, you have to, you know, wear brand name stuff, you have to, you know, have the Louis Vuitton bags, you have to have all that kind of stuff, where they're literally putting all their hard-earned cash, and at the end of the day, within, you know, 5, 10 years, 20 years, that kind of stuff is worth absolutely nothing. Let's be real. All that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, it goes down in value. It's not worth anything at the end of the day, unless it's, you know, something crazy like antiques or whatever it is. But most of the stuff that people are buying, the Nike shoes, all that kind of stuff, if you're just looking to get started in property and buy your first 1, 2, 3, 4 properties, then I would not be buying any of that rubbish. Only after you build a solid foundation asset base and you've got a couple million in assets that have rental income that is going up in value, and you've got, you know, maybe 500,000, a million in equity, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million in equity, then, you know, start to do some silly stuff like that. It's important to have fun along the way. Don't get me wrong. I know people that watch this video, they'll say, oh, you can't take it with you. You can't, you know, do that. You might as well enjoy it. Well, that's one way to look at it, but another way to look at it, people are living a lot longer, and if you were to work for 30, 40 years of your life just to, you know, have a fancy bag, and then when it comes time to retirement, or pass on, you know, money to your kids, or be able to put them through the schools you want to do, the private schools, or give them, you know, take them on vacations later on in life, but you don't have any money left because you didn't invest it, because you know, we're too worried about looking cool and looking fancy and driving a nice car, that you don't have an asset base, you don't have a retirement fund, you don't have a couple million in equity, you don't have, you know, cash coming in from your property portfolio or stocks or whatever you choose to do. But I firmly believe you've got to do both. You've got to enjoy the present, but you've got to plan for the future as well. Everyone's saying, oh, you know, YOLO, you only live once, you might as well just blow it all. That's all fun, and, you know, I've even tried it before, you know, going out, spending all the money, all the income and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you look back, you don't really remember those kind of nights. You might remember some experiences, some photos and all that kind of stuff, but you've got to have an equal, there's got to try to be a balance as well. And I've gone really hard. I've worked lots of jobs. I've done all the kind of crazy stuff to you know, buy as many properties as I have and build my, you know, multi-million-dollar property portfolio. But I guess if I was starting again, I really would want someone or to see a video like this where it says you don't have to buy that fancy stuff. The most important thing is getting your foot in the door, buying property first, or, you know, investing first, storing cash away, and then after, you know, you've done that for 5, 10, 15 years, then buy the fancy car for 100 grand, then, you know, do something like that. So that's the end of my rant, I guess, and this is just a little bit about my experience. I've seen so many people, you know, over the years with 3 Louis Vuitton bags that are on the train to a job that they don't like. And, you know, if you've got Louis Vuitton bags, you're spending $1 million on, you know, you're spending thousands of dollars on that kind of stuff, and you're catching the train, then something's wrong, from my opinion. Like, you've got to work out your priorities. And my priorities were, I didn't not looking cool, not trying to be fancy first, but getting to where I want to be first, you know, building a portfolio first. So, and then the fancy stuff comes later on. So short-term pain, long-term gain, delayed gratification. That's how you can build a property portfolio and invest in property. So thanks for watching, guys, and I look forward to chatting to you soon. Bye.